Tu hermanito, no sé. Okay. Hello to everyone that is watching this video, and also to Kimberly. Kimberly, we are going to finish with the unit, and then we're going to start with a new one, right? Yesterday we talked about Unit 5D, and we had some things that are pending, but there are few things, not so many, right? And what we have to do is pending exercise number 4. If you have the book with you, you can see the exercise 4 that says work as a class. Are the problems solved? Do you remember the problems in the listening? We had 2 listening. In the first one, remember that there was a tour guide and tourists, and some tourists, and the tourist was worried because I think that maybe his luggage, hasn't arrived, and so maybe he didn't know what to do. But the tour guide, was very nice with him because he tried to help him. And in the second case, there was a problem with it is a couple, a man and a woman, and she wasn't feeling well, remember? And so the man didn't know what to do, so she asked for help, and the hotel at the end, told him that they would arrange for a doctor to see Mrs. I guess the name was Mrs. Biswas, right? Okay, these 2 listenings are the ones that we checked yesterday that has to do with problems that tourists have sometimes, different kinds of problems. And the typical problems, is especially when people travel, for example, by plane, is when the luggage, for instance, doesn't arrive on time or doesn't arrive with the passengers. So this is something very serious because they have to ask for help. They have to go to the, to the agency or at the airport, and try to to look for this kind of help. Okay, and then we have people that have other kinds of problems that like motion sickness, so they feel very bad all the time. They think that they have a disease, but at the end this is a sickness, right? When we talk about the motion sickness. Okay, this was the listening, right? So now here in exercise 4, it says that are the problems solved and how? Well, do you remember the first case, Kimberly? Do you remember if the problem was solved?
I think the problem was solved because they were going to send the luggage to where they were staying. I think so.
Yeah, at the hotel. Yeah. So the tour guide was, I think it was very nice. Yeah, because the tour guide, will arrange, you see, for the luggage to be sent directly to the hotel. That was the idea when it arrives at the airport in the next morning, because that is the information that they receive, that the luggage will arrive next morning. Okay, and in the second case, was the problem solved?
Yes, the problem was solved because the guide offered to call a doctor, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So the hotel, will arrange for a doctor, to see the woman. The name is, I think, Mrs. Biswas. Okay, so these 2 problems were at the end solved. And then we have, do you have the book with you, Kimberly? ¿Tienes el libro ahí?
Yes.
Or not? Yeah. Okay. In exercise 5, this is the things that we have pending here is about pronunciation. That it has to do with the strong and weak forms, right? And it says that this is about the position of to in the sentences. And it says in which sentence is to strong and in which one is weak, right? Yeah, so maybe we have to listen to this. I want to share the book for you to listen to this. Wait a minute. Wait. This is number 4, right? Life 4. Okay, here we are. This is 5D. Yeah, that's correct. D. Here. Yeah, this is the unit. Yeah, let me move this. Okay, so it says, let's see if it is recorded. Sometimes they are not recorded, not all the time. I guess this is not. No, because this is, yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to explain you for you to understand. What happens here, Kimberly, is that the position of to, this, here, in terms of weak or strong forms, when you pronounce, these words, sometimes they can be a strong, pronunciation, or it can be a weak pronunciation, right? It depends on the position in the sentence of to. For example, in what cases it's strong, for example, strongly stressed? Well, especially, for example, when we use these kind of what we call indirect questions, like in number one. Do you see number one that says, do you know which airport our bags have gone to? In this case, yeah, in this case, the second part of the clause where it says our bags, which airport our bags have gone to, in this case, you have a strong, form. So in this case, to is strongly stressed, okay? In this position, because, well, the voice, when you end the sentence gone to. So in that case, you have to pronounce to in a strong form. In the second case, when the position of to, for example, you see when I say, yes, I'm afraid the luggage has gone to Shanghai, Well, in this case, the position of to is weakly stressed. It's not the same as to. So when you finish with to at the end of the sentence, we always use, a strongly stressed, form. But in the case of when you use it as a, as a sentence, as an affirmative statement, like in the second, yes, I'm afraid the luggage has gone to Shanghai. Well, Shanghai is the one that takes, the stressed form, and but it is, is more strong. That's why has gone to Shanghai. To Shanghai, you see, has gone to Shanghai. Is it to the Shanghai? It becomes weak. It's like a t, right? It's not the same as the first one. In B, when it says 21, no, así tampoco tiene, no, I think when it's in red, like this one, is when it's supported. When it's not, it's not. Well, it says listen and repeat these questions. Use a strong or weak forms of at, or from, or for. Then work in pairs and ask the questions and give your own answers. Yeah. For example, in the first case, it says in number 6. Yeah. So if you can do number 6, or if you can't, well, it depends on you. Number 6. Well, let's go to number 6 then. It says here, which hotel are you staying at? Let me see if I have, I don't know if I have this information. It could be. Right. Let me try again to see if it is recorded in another place here in this section here. I guess that we have something, but I'm not pretty sure. Let me see. Let me see if we have. No, correos. Wait a minute. Live 4. Oh, I think this is the cover. Extra access to the papers. Wait a minute. Let me see what you have here. No, it's the same thing. This is the same. No. Red for winners. No. Okay, so let's see. Don't worry, I'm going to do it by my own. Live 4 again, so it doesn't appear. We don't have, I think, the listenings of this part. Number 5. Okay, number 5. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I'm going to do it by my own, but I can't not see. Zoom. Yeah, that's better. All right, so let's see if you can notice where I'm going to, let's say, uh, use the strong or the weak forms, right? The strong or the weak forms. Yeah, it says, for example, in the first case, Kimberly, if I say, which hotel are you staying at? Which hotel are you staying at?
Strong.
Yeah, in this case, we say are staying at. You see, when you finish the question and you finish most of the time with a preposition, that preposition is in most of the cases, um, is strongly stressed. So it's the same what happens when you have the indirect questions, and at the end, you see, like in the first case, the two is strongly stressed. When you say, do you know which airport, our bags have gone to? Have gone to? You see, as a two is a strongly stressed. In this case, it's the same because you have at the end of the question, right, the preposition. Most of the time, remember, when you put it at the end of the sentence or the question, especially at the end of the question, we usually use a strong form, right? Like in the first case, people are going to tell you, which hotel are you staying at? At, you see, not at. In number two, when you say, are you staying? Yeah, it's not the same. You see, look at the second one. When you put it like in the middle, it's not at the end. Are you staying at the Ocean Hotel? You see, in this case, are you staying at the Ocean Hotel? In this case, it's different. So you use weakly stressed. In number three, for example, we have a similar case of number one. You say, where have you traveled from? Where have you traveled from? So you see, the voice goes down, and then you use, a strong form. Okay, can you try, Kimberly, please, with the rest of them, with number four, number five, and number six? If you analyze number four, you see the position of from is not at the end, so it can become weak. When you have, for example, in number five, you have the position of the prep is at the end, it's at four. So in that case, remember what you have to do. And in number six, the position of four is not at the end. So we can use like assimilation process. And when you have an assimilation process, usually the prepositions become weak, right? In terms of the way you pronounce. Okay, can you start for number 4, 5, and 6?
You want me to read the sentence?
Yes, please. With the correct form, weak or strong.
Okay. Why haven't we heard from the airline?
Yeah.
I wrote weak.
Yes, weak.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Number 5. What have we been waiting for? Strong.
Yeah, strong. And 6.
Are you waiting for the manager?
Yeah.
I wrote weak.
Yeah, and weak. Okay. So don't forget these things that are very important when you use, the correct pronunciation of these prepositions, right? Okay, exercise 6, I'm going to skip that because I'm going to use number 7, which is better. That says that we have to take roles of a tourist and a tour guide. So, and what we're going to do is we are going to choose one of the problems, in exercise number 2. We have different problems. For example, one person has missed her flight home and the luggage hasn't arrived, the flight has been delayed, and the person has lost his plane tickets, and someone is ill. Okay, according to this, we are going to have a conversation, right? You are going to be, Kimberly, the tour guide, and I'm going to be the tourist, right? And we are going to have a conversation together, and you are going to be the tour guide, remember, and I'm going to be the tourist, so I want to tell you what my problem is. All right? Okay, so let's see, maybe we can start. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to start. So good morning. Good morning. I wonder if you could help me.
Sure, how can I help you?
You see, I have lost my plane tickets and I need to travel immediately to the United States.
Oh, I understand. Do you have any copy on your cell phone or maybe a reference number I can search on the computer and get you a copy?
Okay. Let me see. Let me see where I have where my cell phone is. I don't know. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to see if I have it in my bag, right? Oh, yeah,
Okay.
I have it here. I have it here. Let me see. Um, well, I'm so sorry, but I don't know how to operate my cell phone. I don't know how to look for this.
No problem. I can help you out. Would you
Okay.
please send me your cell phone?
Okay, so here you have.
Thank you. Okay,
Mhm.
just 1 second.
All right. Okay.
I'm typing.
Mhm. Okay, that's nice.
Okay, I have just found the reference number, so I'm going to print out the ticket so you have it. You have a physical copy of it.
All right.
Just 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
I just hand you.
fantastic. Okay, so that means that I can travel now, right?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Good. So can you tell me, which gate do I have to go now? And what my flight, at what time is my flight?
okay, so I have just checked, and the gate you need to go to is gate number 7,
All right.
and so and your flight is at
Oh,
3:30 p.m. So
oh,
you have a little bit of time to wait. Would you please hand me your luggage so I can take care of it?
all right. Here you are. All right. I have only
Okay,
one
thank you.
suitcase and my handbag. I'm going to take it with me. I'm going to put it in the overhead compartment.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much. I really appreciate your help. You are so nice. Thank you very much. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome.
All right.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
day.
All right. So this is the idea for all the people that are, watching the video. Try to practice with your partner or with a friend, different problems that you can have. Especially when you travel. That's why they are called travel problems, right? And you can do something similar to what we, did with Kimberly. Okay. So this is the end of the unit. As you see, 5D is a short unit. It has only one part here. So the most things that we have here is vocabulary, right? So something that you have to remember is that, especially when you have a conversation, is the polite expressions, right? Used when you ask for help. So that's very important. When we ask for help, that's what I did, with Kimberly, because I was very polite with her because she is a person that works at the airport, so I have to be polite with the people in general. That's why I use I wonder. I wonder, if you could help me. That's something very important. All right. And when also in these cases, it's important to keep in mind, babies, that when you use, for example, offers, you use use will always, but always. For example, say I'll, for example, maybe I'll help you, right? I'll help you. That's, an offer. Or when you say, for example, I'll ask the hotel, for example, to send you a doctor in case that you have, you see, motion sickness, for example. So you're offering something, or I'll help you. That's something very important to keep in mind. Always with I'll, when you offer something, to this tourist or someone that needs your help. Okay, so now we are going to go this part. I Yesterday I was talking with my colleague, Ricardo, and he's going to be in charge of this highlight of this one, right? And also this one. And so what I'm going to do now, so he has letter E and letter F is Mr. Nunez, units, right? So he has to teach these two. And I am going to be in charge of unit number 6, A and B. So I'm going to start with 6 because I'm going to wait for Mr. Nunez to finish the units. And after he finishes, we are going to have the review. Okay, Kimberly? We are going to wait for him. So what I'm going to do, Kimberly, is I'm going to start with this, with number 6. unit number 6. So if you look at the book, or if you don't have it, well, maybe here we can go to the most out. I have to wait a minute. What I want to do is I want to use the zoom out. Yeah. Now I can go to this place. Yeah, I have to go home here to the main menu, and this is the unit. Yeah, number 6. So we are going to start with this little by little with Kimberly. So this is the last unit of this semester. Here we have lots of things to check, right? So that's why we need time. But anyway, we're going to go little by little because probably in July the 15th or something like that, we are going to send you the information, the correct information. We could be, ready to finish with the test number 2. And then we have the speaking, and you have to give us the video, and we are ready with that. Okay, unit number 6, this is called well-being. You have it here on the screen, right? Now I'm going to use the Zoom. Yeah, okay, this is the unit, right? It's called, this is the name, well-being. That's the name of the unit. When we talk about, well-being, which is very important in English, it means, what does it mean this? This means, health and happiness. That's the meaning of well-being, right? It has to do with how we feel. It has to do with lots of things. Then we are going to see little by little, but the idea is, and in Spanish, you can call like a bienestar, el bienestar, how you feel, and it's connected with food, with your diet, with the things you eat in general. Okay, so here we have, what you have is a picture, right? It's a picture of, food. Here you have these foods that you have in the photo. We have to identify which of these things are. Here, we are given the vocabulary. So the idea is to put this, vocabulary in the correct pictures. Yeah, this is very simple. The first one, this is something that everybody likes, everybody eats. What is this, Kimberly?
Cheese.
Yeah, this is cheese. Okay, cheese. So you have it here, cheese, is there, cheese. So it corresponds to this picture, cheese. Okay, close to it here, we have something that people sometimes like eating, especially when you go to the cinema. When you go to the cinema and you're interested in, seeing a film, a movie, people usually buy, this. What is this?
Popcorn.
Yeah, this is popcorn. Popcorn, correct. Close to the popcorn, we have something that is, well, this is, we can call seafood, right? Seafood. And what is the name of this seafood, which is delicious, that you can have it as, I don't know, sometimes when you have a salad, something like that. All right, what is it?
Shrimp.
Yeah, this is shrimp. You have it here, shrimp. The word is there, shrimp. So we put it here, shrimp. Well, then we have something that people from other countries, uh, say that we are lucky because we have this delicious vegetable, right? What is this? Or fruit, they call. Yeah,
Avocado.
this is avocado, right? Avocado, right? This is avocado. And then we go here, right? And in this part, what we have is it's a kind of a snack that you sometimes have when you have friends, for example. You can buy a bag of this snack. What is this?
Cheese snacks.
Yeah, exactly. This is cheese snacks, right? Cheese snacks. Close to it, we have this, right? That I like it, especially in the morning when you have breakfast. Sometimes you can have it. So it takes little time, to do this, to prepare it. What is it?
Fried egg.
Yeah, this is a fried egg. Okay, this is a fried egg. And close to the fried egg, we have, this is another thing that is also very delicious too. What is it?
Peanuts.
Peanuts, right? This is peanuts, peanuts. And here, here, what we have is,
Bagel.
yeah, exactly. This is, bagel. You pronounce bagel, correct? Bagel, right? And this is, what is this?
Steak.
Steak, right? This is a steak, steak. And here we have, according to the vocabulary given, pasta. And we have something pending here that we need when we are cold. You have just a piece of it, and then you feel with a lot of energy.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, right? Chocolate. All right, good. Now, then it starts here. Where in pairs, put the foods in exercise 1 in the order you think is the most to the least healthy. Oh, to the most, yeah. Okay, the most starting from number 1 to number 11, according to what you think, right? Starting to the most to the least healthy. Yeah, the most to the least healthy. Wow, what a question. Yeah, maybe we can have possible answers, right? It can vary according to your experience, right? According to what you know about what a diet is, what a healthy diet is, or what you are used to eating sometimes, So that's why, this question is very special because it can vary the answer. It could be, I can have different, or possible answers here. Okay, for example, in the case of Kimberly, for instance, in your case, Kimberly, what would you put starting from number 1 being, one, it says in the order you think is the most to the least, the healthy, yeah. The most healthy to the least healthy.
The most healthy one is the avocado.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think that is avocado, right? And then
I wrote cheese.
Yeah, okay.
And then shrimp.
Okay.
And then peanuts.
Yeah.
And steak.
Okay.
And then maybe a fried egg.
All right.
Then probably pasta.
Yeah.
The bagel.
Mm-hmm.
The popcorn.
Yeah.
Chocolate and the cheese snacks at the end.
Yeah. Okay. So we have, for example, I have some differences with Kimberly, but it's because I told you we can have different answers here. So, for example, I have agreed with some of the things. For example, I also think that avocado is the first one, right? And then I put shrimp, and after shrimp, I put popcorn, and then 4, I put pasta. That maybe I could move it right to another place. Then I put steak, and then bagel, after peanuts, and then fried egg, cheese, chocolate, and cheese snacks. So we agree in the last 2 also, because she also said chocolate and cheese snacks, right? Because chocolate and cheese snacks are not very healthy, right? So we know that we can eat it, especially when, for example, when sometimes I'm very cold, I just eat a little piece of chocolate because I immediately feel different with a lot of energy, right? But I know that this is not very good because it has a lot of, it contains a lot of calories. So, and sometimes maybe too much, let's say it has butter sometimes, so this is not very good to your health, right? But I agree with her. Okay, question number 3. We are okay, Kimberly, so you're right. You did very good this part. And then it says in number 3, number 3 says answer these questions. These questions because this is the introduction to the unit, okay? It says, should supermarkets be required to tell you how nutritious the food on their shelves, is? Okay, what a question. This is a very important question. If we want to be a healthy person, we need to know how nutritious, you see, for example, our food is. Okay, again, so I repeat again, should supermarkets be required to tell you how nutritious the food on their shelves is? What do you think about these questions?
Yes, I think they should be required.
Yeah.
Although here they did that, those tags that they added to the food. So I think
Yes.
that really helps. And I've heard from people from other places that they find that very interesting because it's not something that they see when they go back to their countries.
Yeah.
So I think supermarkets should be required to inform you about the ingredients and how nutritious
Yeah.
a food item is.
Yes,
Oops.
exactly. I agree with with Kimberly. I think it's very, very important. I think the supermarkets, all the supermarkets, not only the supermarkets, all the stores that sell food in general, they should be required to tell all the customers and clients how nutritious the food or the products that they have on their shelves. You see, for example, the products, all the products, are right. So you have to know the amount of sugar, for example, they have, or maybe, or what the ingredients, the products have, or the food, has, etc. I think it's very important because we have lots of people in our country. Remember that Chile is a country that has a lot of, obesity among children. And apart from that, we have adults with lots of different kinds of diseases, especially, for example, diabetes. In Chile, diabetes is, is a disease that lots of people, suffer. So they have to know, for example, about these important nutritious, factors, right? Okay, good. All right. I mean, they are, I think, a nutritional, maybe information that we need to know. Number two, should restaurants provide nutritional information on their menus? Yeah. Now, what happens with this? Is it important they or should they have it as a they are saying as a piece of advice or recommendation? Should restaurants provide nutritional information on their menus? What do you think, Kimberly?
Yes, I think it would be a really great opportunity for clients to understand what they're eating because sometimes
Yeah.
people just eat the food because it's really good and all that. But then, I don't know, if you're getting like a burger or something, you don't know how many calories there
Yeah.
is on the burger.
Yeah.
So I think it
Exactly.
should be it should be something that people should um, start doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's very also important, you see, that the restaurants should, I think, provide this kind of information, the nutritional information on their menus. Because in this way you can know, what you're eating. So maybe if you are interested in having a balanced diet, for example, well, so I think in this case the restaurant should, you see, I mean, provide this kind of information to all the clients and customers, right? Yes, that, I think it's very important too. And in number three, it says, where can you already find this kind of information? I mean, when we're talking this kind of information, we refer to the nutrition information. Where can you find the nutrition information of of the products or of the food in general?
I don't really understand this question, but I think you can find it on the back of the products. You can find all the information of the ingredients and how many calories it has and protein and all that.
Yeah. And do you know how do you call that piece of paper that sometimes some products have with their nutrition information? They call label,
Okay.
right? So this is the important thing that you have to keep in mind. So nutrition information is often on the labels of the food product packages, right? Or well, it depends on the product, of course, right? But they use a label, and in the label they put this nutrition information, right? Remember, we call label, right? Okay. let's go to number 4. It says, discuss the questions with your partner. Okay, so in this case, you're going to, discuss with me. It says, have you heard the saying? There is a saying, Kimberly, that is very common. And it says, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. Okay, have you heard about this? You are what you eat or not?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. What do you mean? What is the meaning of you are what you eat? What does it mean?
I think it means that if you eat junk food, it means that you're unhealthy, and if you eat healthy food, then you probably are fit and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's the idea. So in this case, when it says you are what you eat, it means that it is important to eat good food in order to be healthy and fit, as what you say, right? This is the idea. So it means that it is important to eat good food, in order to be healthy and fit. That's the idea of you are what you eat. And do you think that, do we have a similar saying in Chile that say, hey, you are what you eat, or not? I was asking for this and nobody told me a similar saying in Chile.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think so, right? Number 2 says, how much attention do you pay? This is a personal question. How much attention do you pay to your diet?
I think I'd say in between, because I'm not like super healthy, but I'm also not super unhealthy, because I try to eat um, like a balanced diet, I guess.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, in my case, I would, I'm going to share my answer with you. In my case, I think that I pay a lot of attention to my diet because the types of food, for example, I eat, right, will have an impact, you see, on every part of my health. Sometimes when I have, for example, onions, like fried onions with meat, for example, I immediately have an impact, in my stomach. So that's why I have to be, you see, all most of the time I have to think about what ingredients I'm going to add to the food because I know that there are some things that I cannot eat. So that's why I have to pay a lot of attention, to my diet. Okay. In what ways, you see, can food and diet influence your health? Sorry, your health. In what ways can influence?
I think it influences a lot, because if you eat just young food, you would probably feel very um, like without energy,
Yeah,
because there's not many nutritional there's not many nutrients in that
yeah,
food item. But if you eat more healthy, I feel like it affects also your mind, because you feel a lot more happy and energized. And yeah.
yeah. I agree with you. So what I can add to what Kimberly is saying is that I think that um, there are lots of ways that food can influence, for example, your diet can influence, in this case, your health. I think that, for example, when you have a good diet, especially a good diet, um, you can improve, for example, your immune system. I think this is very important because the immune system is the one that is responsible, you see, for protecting us or you, against diseases or illnesses. So I think that's very important, right? So eating right also will help you stay, for example, stay younger, stay like with a lot of energy, as Kimberly said. There are lots of foods that can help you to feel good, and they have an impact or an influence in your health. For example, there are people who eat a lot of, let's say, carrots because they think that carrots can help, improve your eyesight, for example, or berries. People that eat a lot of berries, which is also very healthy because they think berries help improve, the um, the health of your skin. Did you know that? The health of your skin. So to have a healthy skin, they say that doctors suggest eating, a lot of berries. Well, and also because, as Kimberly said, having a good diet, you can feel energized. That's an important thing, right? And you can avoid, for example, having a diet that you can improve your immune system in order to avoid those terrible diseases like a serious serious illnesses. For example, we have heart attack, let's say cancer, stroke, heart diseases, etc. Right? Okay, so very interesting what we are talking with, you see, with Kimberly, because we can say that well-being is really important in our lives, right? Because it helps you to feel happy, to feel, healthy, to be fit, right? And when you have all these, things together, you can feel good in life. You can feel with a lot of energy to face all the things that you have every day at work, for example, in your case, in your studies, in your life as a university student, in the things that you have to do in the house, and also to face illnesses or diseases, right? So this is very important. So what we have to avoid in general is, as Kimberly also said something about junk food, we have to avoid these kind of things. We can have it, but just once in a while, maybe, right? But the idea is, to have a healthy diet, right? Um, Dairy products are very important too, especially when you're very young. Dairy products like milk, for example, you see these kind of things, or things that contain, you know, I mean, milk, that's dairy products. Also fruit, you can have, fruit, um, um, or let's say uh, grains also. You have lots of things that are very healthy. And the idea is to have, breakfast. Doctors recommend to have a healthy diet, to have breakfast, to have lunch. And after that, you can have something but very light. And that's it. The body, they said that the body doesn't need a lot of food. Did you know that? So it doesn't mean that you have to eat during the whole day, or every half an hour you start eating something. No, they say that every 4 hours, the idea is to have something. Like, for example, in the morning, as I told you, breakfast, then you need to have lunch, and then after that, you just can have, for example, maybe something light, like it could be a salad, and then that with that is enough. They say that we don't need more. I don't know, Kimberly, if you agree or disagree with what the doctors, say. Only three, meals a day, no more.
Yes, I agree with it because I also myself just eat three times a day, maybe just have like a snack in between, and I will feel like with a lot of energy and I'll feel okay with the food.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Although there are things that are very delicious, but I no, thank you. Although I love, but
I think it also depends on the speed that you eat. So
yeah,
if you eat very fast,
yeah.
then you will probably feel like hungry after a few hours. But if you eat slow and like in like a regular pace, I feel like you would feel okay with your body, and you would
Mm,
not feel hungry in like a short amount of time.
yeah, exactly. That's something very good because, well, um, there are people who sometimes eat very fast. In those cases, what you have to do is to try to go to the doctor and ask for help, because as Kimberly says, this is not good, right? Because what you can do is you can start eating, you see, much food. And this is not good because at the end, what you can have is maybe you can become a very overweight, person. So, and this is not good, right? Because if you continue with that, with the same thing, or eating at the same, for example, pace, that's not good, because you can become also maybe an obese, and this is not a good idea, because it's very difficult then to start, reducing weight. Okay, so it's very, I think, maybe it's not good, for you, because you're a young person. And when people starting, gaining weight, and you can become an obese person, it's it's very, very bad. It becomes a disadvantage, a terrible disadvantage, because you don't have energy, you lose, stamina, right, that you need to do these things that you're doing at the moment, like, for example, studying at the university. So this is not good. That's why in those cases, the first thing that you have to do as a young person is please go immediately to the doctor to ask for help. Okay, so as for example, Kimberly, I don't know, but if you could see, but I was really surprised, astonished when I saw for the first time, like very obese people in the US, men and women in the streets walking, like weighing 200 kilos, sometimes more. Did you see these people? I saw many. I was really surprised seeing obese people. Did you see those or not?
Can you repeat the last part?
Do
Sorry.
you see the because when I was in the States, I saw a lot of people suffering from obesity.
Oh,
Really,
yes.
I
It
was
was very common to see that.
surprised. It was incredible. I think that these women uh, probably weighed more than 200, kilos, and they
Hmm.
looked very young. So I say, but how come? How is this, possible? But it is
Yeah.
because, they started buying, and when I have seen these people, the diet they have, they eat a lot of, junk food. And
Yeah.
and
Because junk food is really, really cheap over there and fast.
yeah, that's it. So they eat, a lot of things that are, well, they are good. They taste, very delicious, but at the end, they are not good.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. So we are going to start then. This is the, the introduction to what we are going to see, right? But we have talked, I think, important things about, food, about our diet, also the importance of places, that sell products that they should, I mean, give the correct information about, for example, um, let's say, the, you see, the ingredients that the food, has, because in that way people can be informed about what they are eating, right? So I think that's very important. So that's why you can see, as I told you, the labels. All the products have these labels with the nutritional information that, I think you should know. Okay, so this is what we are going to start, checking. So the let's see, what is your favorite food anyway, Kimberly? Do you have any favorite food? Everybody
My
has.
favorite dish is charquican.
Charqui can. Wow. I cannot eat charqui can
Why? It's really
because
good.
it when I eat charqui can, at the end I have jaquic, migraine. That's why I can't. I don't know why. The doctor told me is that I cannot eat potatoes. That's why. Potatoes can cause me, this, terrible headaches, but this is connected with my stomach too. So I have to avoid. I like it, but I avoid eating charquica. I think it's delicious, but I can't eat it. What a pity. It's a pity, but anyway, I have to do it. I prefer to do I mean, I can eat, of course, lots of things, but there are some things that I cannot eat. I cannot eat, as I told you, cheese. For example, the doctor told me not to eat cheese, not to eat chocolates, onions, potatoes, but I can eat all the rest of the things. I
And
have to
what is your
avoid coffee
favorite
and
food?
tea. Coffee and tea.
What is your favorite food
My
or
favorite
dish?
food is empanadas. I love them, but they have onion. But I love them. I really enjoy eating empanadas. I really like empanadas. Oh, this is my favorite, dish, empanadas. Also, cazuela. This is something that I really love eating. Okay, so we are going to start with this one, Kimberly, and in this unit, not today, but we are going to start checking modal verbs, but modal verbs in different meanings, different uses, okay? So, but first we are going to check, we're going to check this part. It's called pizza with a pedigree. Imagine pizza with a pedigree. Well, it says here, we have, in the picture, you see a pizza here, which it's, yeah, it looks like a very delicious. It has a lot of cheese. Well, maybe this pizza has a lot of ingredients, right? Yeah, you know that in Chile, people love pizza. I always see those, young people, taking pizzas or delivering pizzas to different houses and apartments because I noticed that in Chile people buy a lot of pizza because they what they do is, for example, especially today that they are home, they are working, they don't have a lot of time to prepare some food, so they prefer to buy a pizza and they have it as as lunch. That's what they do in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, right? And children like also pizza, so maybe this is a favorite food for them. Well, so we are going to start then checking this, the first part. Oh, I don't like this because this, I mean, I cannot see the letters so small here. Well, let's see. Here we are. We're going to check the first part, right? Only the first part. Then we're going to continue. Yeah, it says here, let me see. Yeah, there it is much better. Now this is good. Pizza with a pedigree. Reading, it says. But first we have, this is the warm up of the unit. What are, look at this, Kimberly, traditional dishes of your country or region? Well, let's talk about, for example, our country first. What are the traditional dishes of our country? What do you
I
think are
think
the traditional dishes of our country?
I think empanadas, cazuela, pastel de choclo,
Yeah.
humitas,
Hmm. Yeah.
and
Yeah, cazuela, pastel de choclo, humitas, empanadas. Yeah. Um, Maybe it's also traditional in, well, it depends. When we are on some holidays, people, it becomes traditional to have a barbecue
oh, okay, see,
sometimes, in some cases, right? This is like a traditional in Chile, especially on September the 18th, right? That this is very common, right? But I think in our region, like we don't have like maybe a traditional dish, or do we have a traditional dish in our
I
region?
don't think so.
Ah,
Maybe in the south, but I don't think here.
yeah, maybe I remember that some students told me last year that in our region, especially well here in Valparaiso, we have a traditional dish that is called Kimberly. This is the say that you go to Jota Cruz, the restaurant Jota Cruz sells this dish that is French fries. It has French fries. It has onions, and also everything is fried. Onions. You see French fries, pieces of meat in between, some pieces of meat, or other kinds of meat, different kinds of meat. And I think it's also it has a fried egg on top or something like that. How do you call that? Chorrillana. Now I remember. Never. Chorrillana. Have you ever
Oh,
tried
okay.
chorrillana, Kimberly?
See, yeah, but I don't really like it.
Yeah, but students told me that this is a traditional dish of our region. That every time, for example, that a young person comes to Valparaiso, and if he wants or she wants to have lunch, for example, or they take maybe not only as as a dish that you can have it at lunchtime, but also you can have it, in as when you get together with people. So you invite them. Why don't we go to have a chorrellana? Yeah, I remember that. So maybe this is a traditional, you see, dish in Valparaiso, right? Okay. How often do you eat or make them? I don't know.
I think we eat empanadas pretty often because they usually sell it everywhere, and also sometimes, well, my neighbors at least, they always make empanadas so that we can buy it and all that. So
Yeah,
I think it's a
right.
very accessible
Yeah,
dish. And my mom always makes cazuela, which I don't really like.
mhm,
And pastel de choclo, we probably cook.
yeah,
We usually cook it together on summertime.
yeah,
I help her.
yeah. All right. Yeah, and do you make, for example, or do you prepare a barbecue when it's September, for example, on September the 18th?
Yes, we do. But I'm
Yeah,
not really a big fan of barbecues, to be honest.
yeah, me too. Well, so I think that, for example, I often eat empanadas, especially on weekends. For example, when I'm really tired and I don't want to prepare food, I prefer to buy empanadas near my home. There's also a woman that makes empanadas, and they are very, very good. So I maybe at least once a week or twice a month, I eat empanadas, right? And also well, I like, cazuela. And I prepare cazuela when I am, for example, when I don't have time, because it's very fast. It doesn't take too much time. So that's why I always prepare cazuela. For me, it's very easy, very simple. And how often do you eat or make dishes? Well, dishes is maybe something that you need more time to prepare a good dish, for example, right? Something more elaborated, for example. You can make or eat dishes. How often do you eat dishes, Kimberly? A good dish, something, for example, I don't know, it could be um, maybe like it could be potatoes, no, mashed potatoes, for example, mashed potatoes, but a good mashed potatoes that you have to peel the potatoes, then you have to, you see, boil the potatoes, and then you have to mash. You prepare the correct ingredients to have a good mashed potato.
Mhm.
Um, with a special sauce, so you need to prepare the sauce, and then you can add something else to that mashed potato. So maybe, and how often do you make dishes or do you eat dishes?
Well, my mom always cooks really good. So I
Ah,
think every day we have like presentable dishes at least.
yeah,
And but sometimes I will help her, but I don't make them or cook them myself.
yeah. And another question, since you lived abroad, how often do you eat or make dishes from other countries? And which dishes from other countries, not from Chile?
I try to eat
Mm.
dishes from other places, but I'm just not really good with tasting food that I don't really know. But my parents or my family, they really liked tasting or trying different dishes.
All right. Good. So maybe dishes, or how often do you eat dishes from other countries? Well, sometimes I eat dishes from other countries. For example, I usually eat what we call lasagna, for example, which is, this is an Italian
Oh yeah.
food.
Mhm.
And those kind of food, for example, lasagna. Sometimes I also like eating maybe Thai dishes, or for example, let's say sometimes Spanish food that sometimes I like paella, for example. This is
Mhm.
Spanish food, and you can have well, different kinds of dishes. In Valparaiso and in Viña, we have, international restaurants. So sometimes you can go, and for example, when you celebrate, for instance, your birthday, you can go to that place if you want to have Italian food, or if you want to have, maybe Chinese food, or uh, what else we have here in Viña or Valparaiso, Mexican food, right? You can also have Mexican food. I have also eaten Mexican food in here in Viña del Mar with my colleagues, because when we are on birthday sometimes, uh, they invite me to a restaurant every year. So once a year I go with them to a restaurant. I have to choose the restaurant. I don't pay; they pay me because this is my birthday, and I try to eat, the things that I like, and I try to maybe to have something that is different. That's why I decide to go to these places, to an Italian restaurant or Thai or maybe Mexican restaurant. I like Mexican food. I like it, but the thing that I don't like is the spicy food. So that's why I ask not too spicy, but I like the Mexican food. Okay, so this is, Kimberly, the things that we have, we are going to start studying. So this is the first part. So remember that the previous section is very important. What we did, lo que hicimos en la introducción de la unidad, todas las preguntas 1, 2, 3, 4, that we did it kind of fast because you are able to answer all these questions. In number 2, well, we are going to read the text and we're going to answer the question. We're going to do this for next class. Eso lo vamos a hacer próxima clase because it's 9:21 and I guess you have classes now with Candy.
Yes.
Yeah, so next class together.
Okay.
Kimberly, try to have a look at the reading. Trata de leer este reading. Es bien interesante, este de Pizza with a Pedigree. And we are so as to be ready to answer and to start little by little para que esté también la Tiare or other student that wants to be here, because this is important. Esto no es, we need to be together to teach you the modal verbs, right? Okay, so up to here, thank you very much, Kimberly, to be with me today. So, and to the rest of the students that are going to watch the video, try to do the same, read the text before Friday, so as to have an idea what we are talking about, okay? Thank you very much again. Goodbye to everybody. See you. Have a nice day and a nice class. Thank you very much, baby.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you.